All right. Hey, my friends, welcome to this episode where we're going to talk about feelings. We're going to talk about what to do with our feelings, why it's such a central point of the recovery process. And so we're going to dive into a lot today. Really excited. But real quick, before we dive in, if you don't know me, my name is Matt Codde. I am the founder of Restored Minds as well as the author of the book From Stuck to Unstuck. And so, if you're looking for help and guidance when it comes to breaking out of this loop, that would be a great place to get started. I have a link right down in the notes. You can also head over to Restored Minds and apply for our Taking Back Control 12-week program, which is again is very in depth and will really walk you through step by step. So, and if you can help our show out by liking and subscribing and leaving a review on iTunes or Spotify, I would really be appreciative because it helps the show, helps the algorithm, helps us get this to more people. So, with all that said, let's go ahead and dive into feelings today. So, we're on our series on OCD and anxiety recovery. And, we've talked about the loop. We've talked about what ERP is and how we're really aiming to break the loop from behaviors. And then we're talking about, again, recovery being a direction, not a destination, and ultimately not being our own worst enemy. And that was kind of the foundation. Now I really want to dive into the idea of feelings. And because, most of the time, what people are looking for help with is how to feel better. Feeling anxious, feeling a lot of distress inside. And we perceive that certain things are the cause of that, and therefore we try to eliminate them, right? In OCD and anxiety's cases, generally we're perceiving that either some kind of external event is the cause of something making us feel uncomfortable, or that our thoughts are the cause of making us uncomfortable. And our efforts are usually directed to try to change our environment or to change our thoughts. And this is an unfruitful way of going about this process. That's why I introduced the loop to begin with, where really we need to change the behaviors we're engaging in and really actually not try to change our thoughts or feelings. So when it comes to feelings themselves, this is where most people get tied up and really struggle with the process, because the fundamental belief is that feeling things that are uncomfortable is bad. And when we perceive something to be bad, we resist it. And then when we resist it, we get stuck in it. So if I had to summarize in just like a few sentences, really the secret to overcoming anxiety, right? If it was a secret, right, is actually being comfortable feeling it. Because it's our resistance to the energy of fear that, what we resist persists. And the fact that we think it's bad causes us to resist it. And then by resisting it, we end up engaging in compulsions that paradoxically get us stuck in that energy, that energy of fear. And so the first step is really about understanding that fear is not bad. It's not good or bad. It just is. And yes, it's an uncomfortable emotion. But again, it's not bad. And if you're constantly telling yourself and affirming and reconditioning yourself to, buy into this belief that feeling anxiety or feeling fear is bad, that you have a disease because you feel fear or feel anxious, it's going to cause a lot of resistance, which is going to cause you to do a lot of compulsions, mostly mental, like the mental checking, the rumination, the analyzing, all of that. And, ultimately cause you to get stuck. And so the feelings are generally the biggest stuck point that I see on my, when I'm working with different people. There are people that are coming through the program. The feeling point tends to be the biggest stuck point for most. Now, a lot of people tell me, well, Matt, if I just didn't have these thoughts, or, they think they want to get rid of the thoughts or things that trigger them in their environment, whether it's doorknobs or, whatever the trigger might be. And I'll always kind of pose a question. I'll be like, okay, let's pretend that I was able to eliminate all the intrusive thoughts that you were experiencing. But the caveat was that you still had to be anxious or depressed. Would you take that deal? And most people would be like, well, no, absolutely not. Right? Just in the same way, if I, flipped that question and I said, hey, look, I'm going to give you your dream scenario that you think is going to happen, right? You perfect spouse, perfect house, all the income you could ever imagine, all the best food in the world. But the caveat is you have to be completely anxious and depressed the whole time. Most people wouldn't take that deal because the inner state is really what people are pursuing. And like I said, with OCD and anxiety, the issue is that we're pursuing the wrong avenues to try to get the outcome of a balanced internal state. Now, a balanced internal state is not necessarily the absence of anxiety or fear or lower emotions of anger, guilt, and shame. It's actually the integration of them. Because by resisting them, essentially, it's like that the energy gets stuck, right? And we can get stuck in these loops of it. And this is really the problem when it comes to feelings, is that most people are so resistant to their feelings and they're trying not to feel something. So it paradoxically perpetuates the situation, right? They paradoxically get stuck in that loop of that energy. And this is why when it comes to OCD anxiety treatment, a lot of the main principle is learning how to feel anxious, how to feel fear, how to feel through that. And then, so what a lot of people do as the next step is they try to feel it to make it go away. And that's exactly what we're not doing as well, because they are like, okay, I'm going to sit and feel this so it goes away. And really, the best way I can explain this is like, no, it's like a feeling that needs to be tended to, like gently, like caringly, you know, lovingly, if you will. In the sense of, you need to be able to sit and be with it and feel through it until it's ready to leave. And a lot of people don't like to hear that, right? They're like, no, I want it gone now. This is why a lot of people, medicate, distract themselves, avoid, right? Just constantly stimulate themselves so they can constantly, again, not be aware of what's going on in their body. One of the easiest ways to kind of know what's going on in your body is just to turn off your phone, turn off the TV, and just sit down, close your eyes, and focus on your body for a bit. Because stuff's happening all the time. It's all there. And for most of us, what we're doing is we're endlessly pursuing these quick fixes that are going to get rid of the thoughts or rid of the circumstances or rid of the feelings that we don't want. And because we're resisting them, everything we do after resistance is a compulsion. And this is why a big central component of your recovery is actually going to be learning and practicing and mastering the idea of actually what to do with your feelings in your body and how to actually work with those. And which is why in Taking Back Control, we spend so much effort and time guiding people through that process, because it's exactly what, like, no one's ever taught this. You never get taught this in school. You don't get taught this generally by your parents or your employers or anything like that. It's just something where most people, how they handle their emotions are escapism, right? So they, just do things to try to escape the emotion, right? That's why a lot of people spend a lot of time on social media, watching shows, watching movies, right? Listening to music, listening to podcasts, right? Watching YouTube videos, they're really trying to get away from the feeling. Most people. And the other things that we do, obviously, is repress and suppress. So we notice the feeling, we just push it down. Like, nope, not for me. And then the other main way we go about it is venting it. And a lot of times when we're venting it, we're offloading a lot of energy onto someone else. And generally speaking, we're trying to manipulate something in our environment or change someone else so that we don't feel that. And it might take a little bit of the steam off, but it doesn't resolve the actual experiencing and letting go of the feeling itself. So with all that said, the central message for this particular episode is really the idea of getting better at feeling what's going on in your body, getting good at feeling the uncomfortable feelings. And the paradox is that the more comfortable we are feeling the uncomfortable feelings, the more they surface and the more they actually release from the body. It's when we get resistant to them and try to get rid of them and try to change them, try to manipulate them or condemn them, whatever we do, that we actually get stuck in them, and they perpetuate over a much longer course. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. And with that said, again, check out the links in the notes, as we have several resources to help you on this journey. And head over to Restored Minds if you're looking for more information. So restoredminds.com. And with that said, I will see you over on the next episode. Hey there. So if you enjoyed that video, we've linked up a few more videos that we think you'd find helpful as well. And if you have found this helpful, we'd really appreciate your support by liking and subscribing. And if you're looking for help and guidance, please check out restoredminds.com, as we have several options for you to get started. See you guys soon.